Welcome to another captivating episode of the Way Up podcast with your host, Geoff Knoll. In this episode, we have the privilege of delving into a fascinating journey of a truly remarkable individual, singer, songwriter, and captivating performer, Aaron Blumer. Tune in and let this captivating narrative of Aaron Blumer's life and music remind you that no dream is too audacious, no journey too challenging, and that the way up is often paved by unwavering pursuit of one's passions. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, captivated as we embark on yet another illuminating episode of the Way Up podcast. The Way Up podcast is sponsored by me. I'm a real estate broker in the state of Missouri, and I believe that this message is worth my investment. Hang with us till the end. I know you won't be disappointed. Hey, I am super excited to be here with my good friend, Aaron Blumer. I met Aaron, I think it was the first time I went to Bear Bottom Resort. My in-laws own a resort at the Lake of the Ozarks, and Aaron was in a band called Money for Nothing, and they were playing that night, and we just kind of became Insta buddies, I think. That's how I remember it, at least. So how are you doing, man? I'm so excited to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Also, you're right. That's exactly how it happened. Insta buddies. I told you you look like my brother, and I did a couple double takes, and I was like, well, you're way taller than him. But yeah, instant connection, instant friendship, and it's been that way ever since.
Yeah. Well, life has taken us both some different directions since then, and you're a musician. That's what you've done the whole time I've known you, but you have spread out. You played around St. Joe, Missouri. You played around the Lake of the Ozarks, probably further areas than I was even aware of. But you have gone down to Florida. You go to the Keys every winter.
Yep.
Yeah. So just talk about what you do and what you've been doing.
Yeah. So you're right. Of the last 10 years of my life, I've been playing music. It started as a side gig, like playing on the weekends, and I had normal jobs all the way up. But in 2019, I decided, you know what? I'm sick of getting cold. I'm sick of going back to a normal job in the wintertime or in the fall. And I said, I'm going to dive in and try to do this music thing full time. And the only other place I could think of was you had Nashville. You could do it in Nashville, or I could go down somewhere colder or warmer in the Keys, because they have live music all the time. So that was it. I had lived in the Keys prior to that for one season, and so I said, let me just give it a try. Saved up some money, and I've been doing it full time as a full time career ever since 2019. So. Yeah, and then I am coming up here, transitioning up here to the Lake of the Ozarks in the summertime, and because I'm from here in Missouri, and I love to see my friends and family. But yeah, I can spend 365 playing music now for as a job. So
That's awesome. Is that something you dreamed about doing when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had bigger ambitions. I think when I was a kid, I always wanted to be the guy. One of my longest standing dreams, I guess you could say, is I always envisioned. I don't know what kind of music I'd be playing, but I always envisioned me just standing on stage in front of thousands of people and them singing back my words. Because when you see other like major artists do that, when they just hold the mic out to the fans and they're just screaming the words that they wrote, like that always gives me butterflies. So that's always been one of my biggest dreams when I was a kid. But I think now I have more of a realistic approach. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't follow their dreams, but to be able to go to sleep at night knowing that I have to go to work in the morning, and my work is going to play music and making people smile. that's has my dreams have evolved. It's not so big now. Would I take that on the table? Yeah, I would. But I love the idea that I can play music full time as a career and and be successful doing it. So
Well, and it's like you said, it is still a possibility. Those
sure.
dreams, keep those dreams alive. You should keep those dreams alive. We just saw a concert at the amphitheater at the lake. I'm trying to think of who the guy is, country singer. Can't think of it right off the top of my head, but he told his story from stage, and he is the most normal looking dude. Is you.
Mhm.
He was you. I mean, you're maybe even better looking than this guy, but it's this guy walks out on stage and he's dressed like you are. He talks about how him and his wife moved to Nashville because they were songwriters, and their dream was to have famous people buy their music and
Mhm.
sing it. And he said that nobody was buying their music. He wasn't making any money, and he couldn't get other people to sing his music. So he started, and he blew up. He's whoever sings the fancy like
Oh
ooh,
yeah,
that guy.
yeah. It's Walker Hayes, I think,
Walker
isn't it?
Hayes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I liked him a whole lot more after I got to hear his story of what put him in the position. And he got to stand on that stage at the amphitheater and have thousands of people sing his lyrics back to him. So keep your dream alive, dude. That's so exciting.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that is a dream. I don't think that it would just have to be, I understand how it works and it have to be the right place at the right time. Sometimes luck is involved in this, but I mean, with hard work too, I think it's achievable, especially with social media platforms now. I've seen a lot of acts and a lot of people get famous just by putting in the hard work.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
I
you're
don't
you're
think it's out of
active in
reach.
social media. I see you on TikTok. You're always pumping out videos on TikTok. You are doing the things. So, combining that with networking and talking to people and, being in the right room, it
Right.
is a setting up and creating that. But you have done a really awesome job. You're so talented. Your
Thank
music
you, bud.
is so good. Your voice, um, dude, I love watching you play personally.
Thank
But
you.
yeah. But what is something that you can look back over your life and say, if I had to, if I had to say this one thing really positioned me to be successful and live the life that I do today, what could I say has leveled me up or pushed me in the right direction?
What has pushed me in the right direction? The one thing I'd say, um, it was there's a lot of, especially moving down to the Keys. The one thing that has brought me to this level was I conquering the fear, because it was a lot of money to move there, and I didn't work for 2 weeks, and I was, or not 2 weeks, I'm sorry, 2 months, and I was scared. I mean, I'm a grown man. I don't have a support system. I can't just move in with mom and dad if things go bad.
Right.
Like I had to really buckle down and pursue it. Now, the one thing that leveled me up was getting over the fear of rejection, and uh, and the fear of falling apart. And that was a big storm cloud in my life for a few months. When I moved down there, because I this was it was either all in or be done. So
Yeah.
it was it was it was all my chips in on one thing, and it was scary. But I had good friends and family who supported it, and they encouraged me to keep going even when the doors were slamming in my face. And um, I don't know how deep you want to go into that, but it took me a while to get the ball rolling
Yeah.
after that. So and once I got that ball rolling, it was just, you look back at that cloud, and that cloud seems so small. It's like, what was I scared of?
Right.
Why was I so afraid? And I think a lot of fears are like that. You're so scared of something, and then when you look back after it's over, said and done with, you're just like, why was I even scared of that? So,
Yeah. Our fear is a huge giant. It seems so scary.
yeah,
And once you actually just face it and do the thing, get get right up in there in it, you find out that it's never as bad as you thought it was going to be, for one.
yeah,
But
exactly, yeah.
so I just heard you say one of the things was you had to face your fear. You had to step into something that was, scary. And cost of living in Florida versus Missouri is a
That's
massive
right.
difference.
That's
I
right.
mean, are you comfortable sharing what your rent is down there? Like
Oh
what you're
yeah,
renting and how much it costs versus what you rent in Missouri and what it costs?
now I need to disclose that I don't pay my full rent because I have to have roommates. But yeah, our rent is 4,400 a month.
And how big of a house is that?
It's a 4-bedroom home on a canal, so
It's a sweet
uh,
house. That's
it's a
awesome.
sweet house. Yeah,
But
it's a good setup.
$4,400?
That's correct. Yes,
Holy
4,400.
bajoli. That's a big, big price difference from Missouri. So cost
It
of
is.
living, I can understand why that would be a concern, as
Yeah,
it's going to cost you a significant more money. So you have to be making money. But you
right.
got down there and you started booking gigs and playing.
Not right away. It took me a
No?
while to get the ball rolling. Yeah, and I can go into that and
Go into
tell
it.
you my
Yeah. I
story.
wanna I wanna hear the scary part. I want to hear what like shook you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, part of this part of this was my ego, if I'm being honest with you, because I came from a small town where everybody knew my name, and I didn't have to ask to be hired, or I didn't have to ask. People would come to me and ask me to play, and then especially playing at the lake. Also, I had a good reputation. People knew me. I didn't have to try out or audition or anything like that. So I get down there committed to a year contract on this house for $4,400 a month. And, the first place I visit was very short. They said, nah, we've got musicians. We don't need anybody else. And I was like, well, and they didn't want to hear my wells. They didn't want to hear my butts. They just said, we're good. We don't need anybody else. And so I shook it off that first one. You think maybe that guy's having a bad day or something. But I made I made schedules to meet with people and the managers, and it was all the same. They had enough people. They don't do music those days. Things like this. All these things were happening to me, and this is a month into it, and I've had meetings with just about every bar, and nobody would hire me. Nobody even wanted to listen to me. Nobody even wanted to, because it's a small town. People are in and out all the time. They hear the same stuff all the time. So I got desperate. I mean, 2 months into it, I'm out of money. And but like I said, with my friends, yeah, my friends were encouraging me. You can do this. We believe you can do this. You just got to keep fighting for it. And if you need money, we'll pay your bills for a little bit, but we don't want you to go into working a different job because we believe in you. And about 2 months into it, I saw there was a bartender position open, and that's what I was doing at the Lake of the Ozarks. And I said, well, maybe I'll just go get a job and then try to do music on the side. And I was there filling out my application, and my heart was just sinking. I was broke. I mean, I think I had ramen noodles the last 3 days, and I looked at the manager that was standing there when I was filling out my application, and I said, hey, do you have music here? And the same response. Yeah, we've got enough people. We do music Fridays, Saturdays, but we're we're so booked up. We have people for that. And I was like, listen, I understand that you are probably booked, and I understand that there's probably plenty of people that are willing and waiting to get in here to play. But I said, is there any chance I could just come in here on a time where you don't have music? And here's what her response was. Well, we have designated spots to do music, and we don't really do music outside of that. And I said, okay, great. What about a Friday afternoon? She's like, we don't ever have music Friday afternoon. I said, great.
Yeah, you
I
could.
said, let me come in for 1 hour and I'll play for free for 1 hour. And if you want me to go after that, I'll leave. But I think you'll like me. And she said, well, I guess it wouldn't hurt. That's a slow time of day. But and I said, great. Then who am I going to run out? So I went in there, played 1 hour, and they paid me $50 to play another hour. Available spots to play. And that was the first big deep breath I could take. You know, it was I was on my last, leg there. And I finally got to breathe in. And that gave me enough courage to go back out in the streets and go revisit some of the people that I've already said, that already said no, and just really get in front of them the same kind of way. Like, hey, let me try out and let me audition. And I went back to several places multiple times, multiple answers until one day, most of them were like, hey, listen, we got someone called in, you've been in here plenty of times. Can you come and do a show today? And the best, I hear people say this in the NFL a lot, but the best ability is availability. And I was available because I didn't have any work. So
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'll be there. And then that's all it took, as just being available. And then once you play a few shows, the word starts getting around that he will show up. He's good. He'll do what he says. And it just snowballed after that. And it's been, now I'm in that same position down there that I don't have to ask. I don't have to, I don't
How
have
many
to.
shows a week do you play normally on average?
And Key West, okay, most of the year, 9 months out of the year, I'm doing 4 to 8 shows a week. So,
Wow.
and 8 shows a week is a stacked week, and I don't do that very often because it's hard on a voice. But I can. It's up to me, really. I can play. Um, I can play every day, or I can play, 2 times every other day. You know, uh, but 4 to 6 shows a week, and that's how it's been the last few years.
That's awesome. So, what is the goal moving forward? You've kind of had a breakthrough where you've positioned yourself to be you don't really have to audition. People ask you to come
Mm,
now. After you've put in a lot of work and persistence, you got comfortable with rejection. I mean, it's not
mm,
comfortable. Rejection is never comfortable. It sucks every time, but you still went back to these same people over and over again
mm.
and said, hey, give me a shot. Just let me try. I will come in here and play for free if you will give me an
Right,
opportunity. Dude,
right.
I think that's incredible. I didn't know this. I've known you the whole time you've been doing this. We've known each other since 2013. 2013 is when we met.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
And I did not know this. So this is huge. This is awesome. But,
Yeah.
and how cool are your freaking friends that are
Mm,
rooming with you that say, you know what, if we got to pick up your tab for a bit, keep
yeah.
doing this. Do not give up.
Right.
Thank God for those
It's
people.
it's really your friends, like, um that is, I'm blessed to have such a good friend group. Like most people, and that really encouraged me, because I know how much that financial responsibility is. So So that's encouraging, and it really kind of made me believe in myself a little better, knowing that, well, if I'm worth that to them, then I must be worth it. I must be able to do it. And that, again, I said this was an ego thing for me. Honestly, thinking, oh, I can do it anywhere. I can do this. Everybody likes what I'm doing so far, and then I get there, and that ego shrunk real fast, and it went real small. And then for them to put that belief back in me, that's incredible. And that, I'm never Rachel Riley. Her and my friend Gina. They're the ones that really uh, pushed me to never give up on it. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah,
So is Key West is this going to be the go-to place over and over and over again? Or are you wanting to branch out and maybe hit some of these other touristy, nice weather so you can enjoy the weather year round? Because that part sounds really sweet too. You're kind of getting a
yeah.
snowbird, be there when it's sucks up here in Missouri.
Mm. You mentioned going forward, and do I see myself paying that kind of rent all my life? Um, I don't know. I Going forward, I know what I want to do is continue writing and recording music. I've had all these songs. I've had a lot of songs over the years that I've kind of written and just kind of sat on and never put out to the public. So, but whatever is going to facilitate that. So, like, I need to make enough money to afford to record and write music, and so I'll probably go wherever the money's at for now. And the Florida thing is a bonus because the weather's nice, and
Yeah.
now I'm spoiled and I like to be in the sun all year round. So I can see myself doing it, and at least until I'm satisfied on with all the things that I've been sitting on for years.
Yeah. So when are you anticipating this album release? Because I think there's a lot of power in vocalizing, making a goal, saying it out loud, sharing it with the world, burn the ships,
Sure, yeah,
give all the opportunity to turn around and tuck tail away by I'm putting this out there for the world to see that I'm going to do this. Next year, I'm going to have this album. It's going to come
sure,
out. And then the same people that are supporting you are going to be helping you promote that. And your friends are going to start buying, but it's going to spread out. It will grow. So,
sure.
do you have a timeline in mind?
I recorded last May, and I've been releasing songs here and there as singles from this album. I think this is more like a collection. I believe these are songs that I wrote in the last 10 years. I've gone through kind of a roller coaster of things the last 10 years, uh, and this album's kind of a just a collection of songs that I've written over the last few years based on the situations I've been going through. But I do plan on recording an album as a whole thing. So, like, I've got songs out right now that I've released slowly throughout this last calendar year, and but I do plan on writing and recording an album before the end of 2024.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. I'm
Yeah,
definitely looking forward to when that comes out. But
yeah,
your singles that you have, are they what? Are they on like Apple, iTunes? Where do people get
that's
those music?
that's a good question. A lot of most people ask that question, so it's a commonly asked question. And to tell you the truth, it's on every streaming platform globally. So
Every streaming
you can
platform.
find
Yeah.
globally. I mean, even over in Europe, they have different streaming platforms, but they you can find my music anywhere online. It's even on social medias. So you know how in your TikToks you can use sounds, and it's on there. It's available on Facebook and Instagram. So you can find my songs anywhere.
That's awesome. You can be the trending TikTok sounds.
Yeah, that would be
What?
huge.
What?
Yeah, that would be huge. I don't know. I tell people all the time when I'm playing, hey, you can use my songs in your TikToks.
Well,
And some people are like, what? Are you serious? Yeah.
I think it would be really cool to have some intro music, some Aaron Blumer intro music for this podcast. That would be super cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to get one together, huh? Or you can,
Yeah.
of course, use any song that I've already got, and if you like, but you can use any of that. I do need to put one together for you.
Yeah,
That was my intention, I think. So,
I currently
52
use
shows.
what's that?
I after we talked about that, I think I did 52 shows in a row,
Yeah,
and
you've
so
been
I
busy,
was I was
man.
a little busy.
Well,
All right,
and
I've
you
got
you
time.
told me whenever I called you again about coming on the podcast, you said,
Yeah,
um, man, I planned on taking this summer off and just coming to hang out with friends. And I got here.
yeah.
And how many shows have you played this summer since you got
Way too
here?
many. Yeah, I've
A
been playing
buttload.
5 times a week. Yeah, 4 or 5 times a week, and part of that is because I do have a greater goal to it that, and I have a hard time saying no. So
Yeah.
when people want me to play, I say okay, I'll do it. And but because I love to play, I love it's it's the craziest thing to call it a job because it really doesn't feel like one. It only starts to feel a job when I'm doing those 8 shows a week, 3 doubles a week or something like that. That's when it starts to feel like a job. So, but yeah, I wanted to take the summer off. I wanted to have fun, make some good connection with some friends that I maybe have been neglecting, and I'm just working.
Yeah.
But it's all right though. I'm
Yeah.
having a blast
That's
this summer.
okay. Yeah. And you said you're stacking up some money. You got your rent paid up through the winter. That's freaking
Yeah,
awesome. That's super cool,
yeah,
man. Good for you. Because
yeah. That's part of the hustle.
a lot of people, they go getting extra. They're like, hey, I've got money that I was not counting on. And how
Mhm.
quickly is that money blown?
Right,
Immediately, like the second it
right,
gets into their account. It's Prime Day.
right.
Today and tomorrow is Amazon Prime Day. All that money's gone.
Yeah. Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. I got stuff I gotta buy.
So
Music equipment.
Megan asked me, she's like, what do you want? I'm like, babe, do we need anything? I don't know. I don't think we need anything, really,
But yeah, it's like you feel obligated because it's Prime Day. I
because
gotta,
you're gonna get a good deal.
uh, yeah, I gotta buy something. I want to buy that. I've been looking at a looper pedal, and like a couple different percussion pedals that I'm gonna buy to add to my little one man band gig.
Oh, that would
There's
be cool.
one that's like a kick switch that sounds like a kick drum when you're hitting it. So
That's cool. I've seen a
I
lot of
got the little foot tambourine.
the looper musicians that are doing some really cool stuff.
And I've got one. I never got into it, but I think it's just because I'm limited on the one I have. But I want to, especially for the one man show, man. It adds so much to it. So
Oh, for sure.
if I could get good at that, and I know I could if I put my mind to it, but we'll see. I want to buy it today on Amazon.
Good. You should. It's Prime Day. You may as well save some dollars. If you're going to buy one anyways, save some money. But if let me ask you another question. If
Sure.
somebody that knows you,
Mm.
what would somebody that knows you likely not know about you?
Yeah, that is a good one. Um, I think this could be my perspective of myself, but I feel like I am a procrastinator. But like it's terrible. Like I feel like I have trouble focusing on things, and um, I think a lot of people, my brother, for instance, and a lot of people think like look at me and say that I'm always, for me, they say I'm always busy, I'm always doing something, and I feel like I'm never doing enough.
Hmm.
I feel like trying to I'm always trying to catch up with my thoughts, and I'm never doing it in time. So it could be a perspective, because I know when people see my schedule and when people they're like, "Whoa, you are doing a lot." But for me, I feel like I'm not doing enough to move forward. So I think that's probably something that people don't know about me is that I could do more. I'm procrastinate, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I think that's something that's very common in people that are trying to accomplish a lot of things, if you're trying to achieve a lot, I feel the same way. I'm like, dude, you might look from the outside and see, man, Geoff, you've come a long way. And
Yeah,
I can recognize that I've come a long way, but I'm constantly evaluating and I'm seeing the areas where I could have done more. I could have been more productive. I could have accomplished more. And I see those downtimes and I sometimes I beat myself up over it of,
sure.
man, I'm not as efficient as I could be. And it almost feels like I'm an imposter whenever somebody says something like that to me. Like, are you sure you're talking to me for real? Because I don't feel like I'm really all that great, you know? So
Yeah,
that
the way
imposter
you
syndrome's
said that,
pretty normal
imposters.
amongst people that are trying to accomplish a lot. You just have
Well,
high expectations of yourself.
maybe that's it. Maybe, but like, let me just clarify. You have come a long way. Okay,
I've come a
like
long way, dude.
you have.
I've come a
You
long
are
way.
doing so great, and I'm so proud of you for that. And but I think you're right about that. I look like take a deep look within, and a
Yeah,
lot of times
look
I
at the
feel like I don't
progress
deserve
that
it.
you've made in the since 2019. Look at
Yeah,
how far you've come. That's
right.
impressive, man. You have done some serious stuff, and you don't get to the position that you are today without putting in a lot of hard work and
Sure.
without, facing rejection. Getting
Yeah.
comfortable with rejection is one of the most incredible things that you could do and
Yeah.
have done. You've done it,
Yeah.
and you've seen
Yeah.
the success that's come out of that.
Rejection, especially if it's something you're offering that you've used your heart and soul to like promote or to build, and then when you're like, here's this thing I just took out of my soul, and then
Mm-hmm.
someone's like, I don't want it. It's like, oh, that really hurts, and
Yeah.
it does, and it can derail you, But if you get used to it, if you just show everybody, here's my soul, the more times people reject you, the easier it gets, and that's when you realize, oh, maybe I didn't need them to accept it, or maybe I don't need them to appreciate it because all these other people do.
Yeah.
So like rejection is important. It's a valuable part of progress.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to a podcast. It's called the Ed Milet Show, and he was interviewing. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's a professional golfer. Guy's only job is playing golf, and he was talking to him about facing rejection because
Mm.
I guess it was something that was fairly common in his career until he became so successful. Was
Yeah.
just getting comfortable with rejection. And he said that was the character in him, just not not having a problem with it anymore, being
Sure.
completely okay with it. Okay, you don't want it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not opposed to coming back and asking you again. I will
Right.
ask. It's not groveling. I can go over here and do this, but I want to share this with you too. I do
Sure.
want to share this with your audience and your people because I do know that you'd benefit. So
Sure.
having that is incredible. If
And
you Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. The more success you get, like you mentioned, the more success you get is the less you have to try to get people to accept you. So the it takes like you have to a disproportionate amount of rejection before you find success, and then once success starts to bloom, it's opposite. You know.
Yeah. I've got one more question for you. If
Sure.
you had a piece of advice for somebody, how first off, how old were you when you started playing music?
I was 12 years old when I started playing.
12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
12 years old, you got a 12-year-old kid that
Mm.
you want to give advice to. He's just picked up a guitar. He's been watching his favorite bands and just been dreaming. What piece of advice would you give that kid?
I would probably tell him, or him or her, I'd probably say, you know, don't listen to, don't compare yourself to other um, people. Like, don't, when you're learning how to play guitar, don't compare yourself to other guitar players. Don't compare yourself to your peers ever. Always compare yourself to how you were yesterday and the progress you've made. Record yourself, go look back at it 3 months later and see how much better you gotten. And 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 with the hard work and with the the tools that we have available now, you can do anything. You can put it anywhere, you can be whoever you want to be. So I'd say always compare yourself to the person you were yesterday instead of people outside of that. So
That's incredible, man. So just so you know, this podcast, I started it really, and I didn't know all the pieces, but whenever I started it, had this feeling that I want to make sure that I can model success for my son. So
sure.
my son, who's now 14 years old, can
Yeah,
see dad be successful and learn how to do it. Because I haven't always been in his lifetime. I've had an evolution in his lifetime, and
absolutely.
I want him to see that anything that you put your mind to, you can do. And everything that I'm doing in this podcast is really a playbook for him. It's for me, so I can model for
Wow.
him. It
Wow.
is 100% for him, for that generation, and for people that have children that are wanting to model success for them. This is a great place to come for that,
Yeah,
because
absolutely. Because it's like recorded in history.
yeah, it's putting the words out there. I had instance where I was had a health scare and I did not know what was going to happen, and I was not happy with where my life was.
Sure.
But um so grateful for an opportunity for another day, a new opportunity to make it right. Hey, it
That's
doesn't
right.
matter that I haven't done everything that I wanted to do with my life up until today. If I get up and I have breath in my lungs, I can accomplish anything that I put my mind to. And the advice that you gave is fantastic, of just compare yourself to you. It is way too easy to look at, I'm in real estate and I can see I'm not the top agent in my market. There's others that are selling way more houses than I am. It's totally okay, because I'm getting better. I'm working on
Sure.
my skill. I'm developing my craft. And that's okay. I don't have to be them. I want to be the best me. So, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate you, your friendship, and your wisdom coming on here, bud.
Yeah, boy.